Today we'll meet the director of the New Media Film Festival. We'll find out more details about the festival, and we'll also find out what it takes to get your web series submitted. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really excited to do this.
I'd like to start off with giving me a little bit about how you got into new media.
You know, it's a funny little story. Sometimes after you do something so many times and you're kind of not liking the pattern, you all of a sudden finally stop and say, hey, I really want to do this. So a friend of mine, I belonged to her group, and she had wanted me to produce a symposium for her. And I had really prestigious ties, like it went all the way back to United Nations and the Millennium Project. You know, but basically this was going to be a for free situation. And I was just like, you know, listen, I love you, I believe in what you're doing, but can I just do something that tells sort of the same message that you want me to produce anyways? But let me produce it in something that I can continue saying that message. And basically that message was, you know, what stories are we telling? And how can we honor stories worth telling? And so I went to sleep. I'm probably tired a lot because I process in my sleep, and I woke up and I went, oh, film festival, because then you get stories from all over the world, and then you can categorize them. And New Media Film Festival was chosen because a friend of mine said, you know, if you really want to be taken seriously, you know, you should kind of think about all these categories that you have. They're really technology. Oh, okay. And so I switched it. It was originally going to be Vision Film Festival, and so the vision of your story. Right. And then so I just switched it to the New Media Film Festival, because my categories were new media.
From the very beginning, you were focusing on web series.
Yes.
Okay. And so how did that come about? That was just part of the whole creation?
It's really funny because I do a lot of different things. And so I was one of the first producers. I think Frank keeps telling me I was the first producer who produced web series for cell phones. Oh, okay. That was back in 2003. It was called Mini Bikers. We Fight Crime a Little at a Time with little people. It was really cute. Oh, okay. I didn't own it, so I was just the hired producer on that. Meaning, because you asked me, where is it now? Yes. I don't know it. Okay. Right? I know that. But so I realized that and China and Korea were really acquiring a lot of content at that time, but you couldn't quantify how you would be making your money back. So basically you could either give it to them and figure out you might never ever see it again. And so I just saw this new world that was on this tiny little window. At that time it was this big, and now it's this big. And I went, TV. It's TV for a smaller TV. That's all it is.
Tell us why you feel that new media is so important.
I just think that new media is a place where you can tell stories so differently. And how you tell it now says a lot about your signature, who you are, your style. And because it's the new frontier, I feel people are more open to these new ideas and images and dissemination of information. And so it's really rather exciting.
How you program your festival for new media and how you pick what, because a lot of our viewers will be interested in that. And also talk a little bit about the value that you think it is for a web series producer to enter festivals and be judged by their peers or people that are in the business.
So web series specifically for New Media Film Festival, because I love them and I see that they are the new TV. I feel that it is. It's this whole new life opened up, you know. If you have made 3, you are solidifying that you are a web series, okay? You have enough that someone can program it and give you enough time to make more with some funding. You now have a series that can go somewhere. For New Media Film Festival specifically, the judges are Pixar, Industrial Light and Magic, The Caucus. The Caucus are all the heavyweights in TV. They created the industry that we're living in now. And, you know, I'm a steering committee member. So it's like, these are the people that I really think the web series people aspire to be. And what I mean is, you've got the active people that are, you know, producing now at the very high level, and I'm sure some of those are active members as well. But when I tell you, I just look at the people that are at the caucus and I go, wow. So I'd say the awards, we also offer distribution. So you can monetize your content as well. And so you get a chance to be screened live, screened in a screening series which goes all over the world, because you'd be in the Best of New Media Film Festival competition for at least over 25,000 in prizes. We have a Mingle Media TV online competition, separate category, but 10,000 in prizes. The reason why it's different is that's an online audience. The audience votes.
Oh, okay, great.
So we're like, that's our audience winner. And then obviously the distribution.
Right. What's the importance of a web series having a good, solid story?
The fun thing about web series, and also, me feeling that they're like TV. I grew up in sitcom era, not the reality, the reality era. So you're telling a different story each week.
Yes.
And, in TV, and everybody, wants to gather around the TV and watch. And so for me, that's what web series can do. So a good story is one that you can tell that, morphs and evolves and unfolds, and, something happens and it goes in this direction and that direction. But there's this through line that sort of resonates with people on a level where they just go, wow, I wanna watch that. And it is subjective and relative. I mean, people that, love a vampire film, might not love a romantic comedy.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that one is a better story than the other. So the fun thing about New Media Film Festival is we had like about 50 different stories we were telling at any given time. So that was fun. And if I may, I'd like to share how I'm sure web series people feel that their opening shot specifically is so unique and so different from everybody else's. But and I'm only saying this so I can hope that if someone remotely decides to do this, they might think twice. And remember, I have screeners that watch this as well, and they'll go, if I ever see a gun, sex, or hear swearing in the first 5 seconds, now they're exaggerating, but they say 5 seconds, I'm going to pull my hair out. So even if it blatantly, you feel it's needed to tell the story, I'm just telling you that it's been done so much that it already turns whoever's watching it off, unless somehow you magically do something after that moment that keeps us compelled to going forward. Sometimes we'll have great production value, like great. And the acting is really good. And the story might be really good. But I'll give you an example, and the guy actually... I don't like to tell people why we didn't accept something, but he asked, and the way he asked me, I felt compelled to tell him because it was that good. What was missing was every character was miserable and every character was arguing with someone. Like on and on and on. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't go anywhere in my mind's eye. I'm sure it did in theirs. So I'm like, wow, you have a theme song, you have opening credits, you have great production value, great editing shots, lighting, color saturation, wardrobe, talent. Good writing. I wouldn't say it was the great writing in the world. And I think the reason why I'm saying it wasn't great is because why is everybody so miserable? And I just went, who wants to come here every week and see miserable people? Sometimes isn't life miserable enough? And that's another thing. Have fun.
Yeah, that's what's going to lead me to my next question.
Yeah, thanks. Because I just did the preliminary programming, and we need more web series, by the way. So if this goes on the site, we accept web series. We accept all content year round because we have the main festival in Los Angeles, and then we have satellite festivals. We've been having one in San Francisco for the last 2 years, and we're going to be going to Boston. So if we get it, we could call you and say, hey, do you want to be on our satellite festival? So that's why we accept year-round. But in order to be programmed into Los Angeles this year, it's through May 1st. So I still need them. Send them in. Can I give them a discount code?
Yes.
Twitter 10.
Twitter 10, okay.
TWITTER10. Okay. They'll get $10 off any submission.
Great.
They're taking themselves too seriously. Almost like that web series I just told you about where everybody was arguing. Not every story has to be so heavy. you know.
I think what it is too. I think it's starting to swing too far the other way because when web series first started, or creating video for the internet, everything was the funny thing, the cat, somebody falling, somebody slip and falling.
You're right.
And I think they're letting it swing a little bit too far.
Well, someone probably said we need some
We did,
dark.
right. So we need a happy medium. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Web series, by the way, can be instructional.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, teaching physics or teaching macrame or real estate. One girl submitted a real estate show. You know, it's really in the execution of it.
Right. So in closing, what I wanted to talk about, I like to ask people like yourself who are in this and think about it. What do you think it's going to take to get the general public, like like I always say, your mom or your dad or your uncle, who's not anywhere related to the business, to start discovering web series as a form of entertainment?
It's going to happen more rapidly than we think. The integration of the TV to the internet, wireless, and being able to pop up on the screen and be able to have different windows showing at the same time, it's already happening. So whether they like it or not, if they're in that same room with where the main viewing apparatus is, whatever it is, you know, they're going to be forced to seek it that way. What I do think is going to happen is when that fun, and the reason why I say fun is because there are a lot of dark shows on TV right now. There's a gazillion, you know, crime shows and, you know, Walking Dead shows, and there's nothing wrong with these, but, you know, there are a lot of dark shows. So if someone makes that show, that's a web series that you just must see. Like, even if you just watch the first act or the last act, but you got your fix.
I agree.
Right? Then, you know, that's when we're all going to start gathering around the TV again, which was the radio back then. You know, people do want to go on a journey, whether they watch a feature-length film or a web series. So that's why we honor Stories Worth Telling. And I want to thank Greenhouse Studios, who let us film today. They're one of our sponsors, and they do phenomenal post, and they give us a very large post package to give away as one of the awards. So we thank them. Plus, it was really nice because it was halfway between you and I. So I was like, ooh. But I would say for web series, you know, find that. Find your funny.
So what I'd like to highlight from today's interview with the director of the New Media Film Festival is when she pointed out that web series creators, writers, directors should try to make their program original. Don't try to pattern the format of television programs or movies. Try to bring your own vision out. The web is a great avenue for that. If you have something creative, something you've always wanted to try, this is a great place to do it. And if you want to get that recognition to stand out from the pack, think of what your unique vision is and work that into your program. I'm James Tucker, and you've been watching The Web Series Show.